Hi, I'm Vicky. I'm glad you're here. I have a Black Friday art haul that I wanted to show you, things that I purchased in the Black Friday sale on Amazon and a few other sales at my local stores that I managed to pick up, particularly the supermarket. So we'll start with the supermarket items first because I think these are great value and they're things that I really enjoy using. So I have my Sharpies here. These are a 2-pack blister pack that you get at the supermarket. This is ultra fine, which I use a lot with my watercolors, and a fine point. And these are waterproof in that you can let them dry and you can paint over the top of them and they don't move around. So they're great for line and wash. So here are a couple of examples of line and wash technique using archival ink, and you can see how if you draw with this, these are stamped images, but you can draw with this with a fine tip, ultra fine tip Sharpie, and go over with your watercolor paints, and it doesn't stain. So this is another stamp that I used with the line and wash technique. And I've purchased another VersaFine Onyx Black ink. This stuff goes on forever. And these are what I've used as my line and wash stamped images on a couple of the cards that I've made recently. And you can see tutorials for these on my channel. Just scroll back through. This bokeh technique is really pretty. I love this technique, very simple. And then this is a splatter technique as well, which I really love. So that's VersaFine Onyx Black ink in a pad form. If you want to use it in a marker form, I would suggest you use some ultrafine Sharpies to draw on your work because these are waterproof, they're great, and they're permanent. Okay, so I'll pop those down there. Another thing that I purchased from the supermarket were 3 metallic Sharpies. I've taken these out of their blister pack. I've already tested them out and used them, and I'm going to test them out and show you what they look like now, so you can see the effect. So we've got a gold, a silver, and a bronze. And I'm just going to grab a piece of my Copic card that I use for my Copic markers. This is a nice shiny smooth surface, and I'll show you what they look like. So here's the bronze. And let's have a look and see if you can see any shine on that. Now it is a little shiny. If you look at it closely, it does have a bit of a sheen to it. I wouldn't call this as bright a shine as my other markers. Say for instance, the Posca markers in the metallics are much more metallic looking. The silver's quite good. I'll show you the silver. Let's have a look at the silver. S for silver. It's shiny. It's much more shiny than the bronze. You can see a good comparison there. The bronze really isn't giving off much shine at all. The silver definitely is. So I recommend the silver Sharpie is great. I can't guarantee that this is waterproof. I have not tried it with my watercolors yet on wet watercolors. It can certainly go over the top of your dry work though. So this is metallic silver. The bronze is metallic bronze, but not really. It's got a very slight shine, but the silver is the star of the show. Let's have a look at the gold. And these came from my local supermarket in a 3-pack. The gold is like the bronze. It's not as shiny. It's shinier than the bronze. It's not as shiny as the silver. So the silver's fabulous. The gold, yes, there's a little bit of shine, but the silver is something I would use because I like it. The others, not so much. I'll definitely use them on some of my projects. The silver is a particularly good performer, and it's very easy and smooth to work with. So the point on these is a felt tip, and it's quite a nice size. So they're good. So that's what I got from the supermarket. And the other thing that I got from the supermarket, which I use a lot in my watercolors, and I've opened this and I've been using it already, but I'll just show you what this is. This is the Chuck's Magic Eraser block. And this works beautifully to pick up and lift colours from your watercolours. You just need to wet it, squeeze it out, and dab it onto your paper. Depending on the paper you have, if you have something like Arch watercolor paper, it will lift really well. If you have anything that's 300 GSM weight, it will lift well. The thinner papers, just be very careful and take caution that you're not going to pull the paper off. You're not going to peel it as you're trying to remove it. But my technique for this is to just dab very gently. The next thing I purchased is some dagger brushes. I don't have dagger brushes. These came from Amazon. These are from King Art, and the sizes are 1/2 inch. This is the original gold brand. 3/4 inch, 1/4 inch, and 1/8 of an inch. So I'm really looking forward to using those. I haven't actually used daggers before. I've used round brushes, flat brushes, all kinds of different brushes, liner brushes, rigger brushes, fan brushes, but I don't have any daggers, so these were good value. They were around the $35 mark from Amazon on the Black Friday sale. The other thing that was on sale on Amazon for Black Friday is the Academy Bao paper, which I love to use for a lot of my sketching and watercolor painting. This is rough, which I haven't used before. I'm looking forward to finding out what the texture of that paper is like. In fact, let's open it now and have a look. The other thing I purchased this month was a set of spatulas from Kmart. This is a size 4, and they're perfect for opening your watercolor pads. If you ever get a block and you want to know how to open them, you've got this cover on the top. I do like the Bao papers. They work really well. They lift colors really easily, as long as it's not a staining color. And I like to keep this on the block to begin with so we can see what it looks like. You can see the beautiful texture in that. That is a lovely texture. I'm looking forward to doing some watercolor landscapes on this paper, and I'll show you the difference in texture with the Academy watercolor pad in Cold Press by Bao. So I'll open this one now too, and this is the Cold Press, which is not as rough as this one. You can see it has a nice blue cover piece on there. Just pull that down, and it still has a nice rough texture on it, but it's not as rough as the Bao rough. So if I show you the difference between the two. I also have the hot press watercolor paper, which is this one here. This one's been open and been used quite a bit. It's much smoother texture, and on that one I was able to produce this little painting here. You're still able to lift the colors if you need to. It's got a lovely texture to it. It stands up very well to watercolor, so good paper to have. And the texture on this is very smooth, as you can see. This is also great for stamping on. I like this, the hot press, for stamping. I do a lot of stamping with my watercolors. The other thing that I purchased, which does not fit on the table here, so I'm going to bring it into the shot. I did purchase a Sizzix. I have to move this so you can see it. Can you see that? Oh, I'm sorry, it's sideways. This new Sizzix tool, which is a stencil and stamp tool. And the thing I love about this tool is that it doesn't have any edges on it. So I can put a very large piece of watercolor paper in here, and if I want to stamp something on there or use a stencil for stencil lifting techniques, I can keep moving my paper right across. So it's almost boundless the size of paper you can put in this. Whereas the smaller stamping positioners, like the one I have, you're limited by this space in here. It has an edge all the way around it. So you're limited to 6 inches by 8.5 inches is the largest you can stamp. But this one, the platform is huge. I can fit an A2 sheet or even an A3 sheet in sideways and put some stamping or stencil lifting techniques on it. So that is very hefty. So I'll give you the dimensions. It's 9 3/8 of an inch by 14 1/4 of an inch, or 23.81 centimeters by 36.02 centimeters. So these are the dimensions. It's very large. So you can fit very, very big projects on this, and I think this is a winner. I'm really looking forward to getting into it, opening it up. There is a little sort of an adapter you can use for all your stencils, particularly the Tim Holtz stencils will fit on these adapters. So everything you need to get into stamping and stenciling with large pieces of watercolor paper. So these, I've wanted these for many, many years, and really I decided it was time I purchased some. They were on special, so I grabbed some. They come in this nice roll. These are the Stabilo fine tip pens. Now when you open them up, so it's a set of 24 colours. They are not waterproof, so if you're going to use them, I would use them in this recommendation. I've created this card here, and I do have a tutorial for this on my channel as well. This card was created using a Winsor & Newton fine liner in brown to create those doodled leaves over the top. So these would work well in different colour combinations for similar cards. So these are really handy to have, but remember they are not waterproof, and they may not necessarily be light fast either. So if it's on work you plan on selling or framing, perhaps use a more permanent style pen, but I really have fun with these and I like them a lot. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is my Posca pen in brown. So we have our little test piece here. I'll show you the colours of this. Prime it with a bit of a shake. It's not meant to be metallic, but it's a lovely brown colour. I think this would work really well with florals. And again, you're doing that ink and wash over watercolor, and this is waterproof. So when you put it on there, it's not going to go anywhere. So that's our brown Posca pen. The other thing I purchased was some Winsor & Newton white ink, polar bear white. It's got a polar bear picture on it. This is for watercolors. It's great to use instead of acrylic paint. The ink is very opaque, and you can use it for your contrasts and highlights in your watercolor painting. The next thing I needed was some more gel medium. So I like the professional materials for my gel medium when I'm doing my collage work. This is the Professional Holcroft, and it's 250 mils, and it's a matte medium. So you can use this when you're adhering anything, even your watercolor paper, to a board or something like that. This is very, very handy to have. The other thing I purchased was some more micron pens. I got these at the Black Friday sale on Amazon for a really good price, and they're all different sizes. So I've got a 01, 03, 04, 02, 05, 003, 005, 08, broad, and a number 1. And they're all in black. And these are all waterproof archival ink, and they're perfect for working with watercolors. I had a lot of these that I used in my Zentangle projects. I'll just show you some of those. These are a couple of Zentangles that I've had framed in shadow box, and they work really well. They're on Zendala tiles. If you're interested in Zentangle, you can go to zentangle.com and find out how to buy these pre-strung tiles to work on, but the best method to work on them is with the micron pens. They work really, really well on the paper and with the designs. So that's one of my Zendalas. I have another one here too that I've also framed. This one here. It has my favorite pattern, which is Squidlet in the center. I love that pattern. I use it quite a bit. So there's a good use for your microns pens. Last but not least, I have a new art journal. Now this is an Artway journal from Indigo. This was purchased from Amazon. And it has beautiful handmade paper. So I've kept it here. It came beautifully wrapped. So this is 100% indigo cotton rag panorama book, and this is perfect for my watercolor landscapes. It's even got a bookmark so you know where you're up to. Gorgeous paper. And I believe it's made by the same people who make the handmade paper that I buy from India, which is also available on Amazon. And it looks like this. It's beautiful handmade sheets with a deckled edge, and I've actually used this to create my bookmarks. There's a tutorial on how to create these on my channel. You can see these beautiful bookmarks that I have created using this handmade paper, and I show you how you can create a deckled edge in this tutorial. So look for this tutorial on my channel too. This is using spray inks and handmade paper and die cuts in a very different technique. So look for that as well. I love this handmade paper. I think it is absolutely gorgeous to work on, and I really appreciate all the hard work that's gone into creating it from 100% recycled cotton rags. If you enjoyed today's video, consider giving me a thumbs up and click on that bell to subscribe so you won't miss any more videos. I have a whole stack of these tutorials on my channel, as I've shown you some of those examples today. I hope this art haul has been of use to you, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye for now.